প্রিয় দর্শক, এশিয়ার দুই গুরুত্বপূর্ণ দেশ চীন ও বাংলাদেশ। একদিকে চীনের অভূতপূর্ব অর্থনৈতিক উন্নয়ন, প্রশাসনিক সংস্কার, অন্যদিকে বাংলাদেশের স্মার্ট বাংলাদেশ বিনির্মাণের অভিযাত্রা। এই পথ চলায় সুশাসন একটি সাধারণ সেতুবন্ধনী মূল্যবোধ। ইতিমধ্যে আপনারা জেনে থাকবেন, সাংহাই ইনস্টিটিউট অফ ইন্টারন্যাশনাল স্টাডিজ এবং চীনের বিভিন্ন বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের সঙ্গে ঢাকা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় এবং বাংলাদেশের বিভিন্ন থিঙ্ক ট্যাঙ্ক প্রতিষ্ঠানের সঙ্গে গবেষণা ও শিক্ষা চুক্তি স্বাক্ষরিত হয়েছে, যার ফলে দুদেশের মধ্যে জ্ঞান, প্রযুক্তি এবং নীতি অভিজ্ঞতার আদান প্রদান আরও বেগবান হয়েছে। প্রিয় দর্শক, RTV এবং চায়না মিডিয়া গ্রুপ CMGর বিশেষ আয়োজন চায়না ফোকাস অনুষ্ঠানে আপনাদেরকে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি। আমি শাহানশা রাসেল। আজকের বিষয় সুশাসনে পারস্পরিক অভিজ্ঞতা বিনিময় গভীর করা এবং চীন বাংলাদেশ সহযোগিতার নতুন অধ্যায় রচনা। Welcome to China Focus. Our today's topics: deepening mutual exchange of governance experience, creating a new chapter in China-Bangladesh cooperation. Joining us today are two distinguished guests. আমার সঙ্গে যারা আছেন পরিচয় করে দিই তাদের সঙ্গে। আমার সঙ্গে আছেন ডক্টর এম জাহাঙ্গীর আলম চৌধুরী, ফিনান্স বিভাগের অধ্যাপক এবং ট্রেজারার, ঢাকা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়। এবং আমার সঙ্গে আরও আছেন ডক্টর ছেন তৌশিয়াও, সিনিয়র রিসার্চ ফেলো, প্রেসিডেন্ট, সাংহাই ইনস্টিটিউট অফ ইন্টারন্যাশনাল স্টাডিজ এবং একাডেমিক বোর্ড চেয়ারম্যান, সেন্টার ফর চায়না স্টাডিজ। Welcome to our show. Dr. Chen, I want to ask you that heading a Chinese expert delegation, you preside over 2026 China-Bangladesh Government Experience Exchange Roundtable. Following the formation of new government in Bangladesh, this marks the first roundtable between Bangladesh and China think tank regarding national government's experiences. In your view, what is the special significance in this first roundtable?
Well, you know that the delegation I led this time to Bangladesh, to Dhaka University, is to convene a roundtable on those experience of governance exchange. And since both sides, China as well as Bangladesh, they are a developing countries, and despite of the different economic stage, but I think that it's very important for these two countries to compare notes, particularly among those experts and the scholars, on how to govern the two big countries with a huge population, with a very distinguished experience and history and a culture, even if with so much differences between two sides. But I think that, as Chinese always say, that it's better for us to learn each other and to try to compare notes about those very specific issues, such as those poverty elimination, such as the public health problems, such as climate change issues. I think that despite of these two countries' different stage and the different challenges facing each other, but I think it's very unique for us to try to compare notes for the first time, particularly since the new government has been established.
Yes. Thank you very much. ডক্টর জাহাঙ্গীর, আমি আপনার কাছে আসতে চাই। প্রথমে যে প্রশ্নটা আপনাকে দিয়ে করতে চাই, ঢাকা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের সঙ্গে চীনের কয়েকটি বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের চুক্তি স্বাক্ষরিত হয়েছে এবং আমি জানি যে 7ই মেও একটা চুক্তি স্বাক্ষরিত হয়েছে আনহুই ইউনিভার্সিটির সঙ্গে। এই সব চুক্তির আলোকে দুদেশের মধ্যে সহযোগিতার ক্ষেত্র কিভাবে তৈরি হবে বলে আপনি মনে করছেন?
আপনি যে প্রশ্নটা করেছেন সে প্রশ্নের উত্তরে বলছি। 6ই মে আমরা আনহুই নর্মাল ইউনিভার্সিটির সাথে একটা MOU সাইন করেছি। 7ই মেতে আমরা আরেকটি MOU সাইন করেছি টংজি ইউনিভার্সিটি। 2 সপ্তাহ আগে গোয়াংজুতে আরেকটা ইউনিভার্সিটির সাথে আমি নিজে গিয়েছিলাম, সেখানে একটা MOU সাইন করেছি। মূলত আমরা দুটো বিষয়ে আমরা এখানে ফোকাস করছি এই MOUগুলোতে। সেটা হচ্ছে যে একাডেমিক এবং রিসার্চ কোলাবোরেশনে আমরা চিন্তা করেই আমরা এই MOUগুলো সাইন করছি। কারণ হচ্ছে যে বিকজ অফ দ্য রিজন দ্যাট উই হ্যাভ গট সাম প্রবলেমস উইথ রেসপেক্ট টু capacity in doing research as well as or promoting research, because we don't have enough facilities, especially in science, that we don't have enough international standard laboratories to continue our research activities. That's why now we are trying to collaborate with our Chinese friends and universities to enhance our capacity in science research through having collaborative research with them, because they have got international standard laboratories which we are lacking. So we are taking help from them, as well as some of the Chinese researchers which are signing MOUs with us. They have extended their question. They have offered us to establish, laboratories at Dhaka University. So with this help, we are going to do our capacity building in two areas. One is research and another one is teaching. And in teaching, we are thinking about doing some exchange activities, like sending our students to China and receiving Chinese students at Dhaka University, and sending our colleagues to China and receiving Chinese colleagues at Dhaka University. So these are the things that we are actually thinking about and having from these MOUs.
Thank you very much. Professor Tong Xiao, I want to ask you that the roundtable focus especially on national governance experiences. With the new government in place, Bangladesh is at a critical situation of development. China has successfully experiences in such areas such as poverty alleviation, infrastructure, digital governance, and industrial policy. Which specific governance issues prioritized during this meeting?
Well, you see that for this particular meeting, and we mainly focus on the three areas. The one is the general context, including international landscape, how the Bangladesh in this new geopolitical economic landscape will have to handle all those spillover impacts from those changing, unpredictable geopolitical economic landscape, such as the ongoing Middle East conflicts and its spillover impacts on energy supply. The second perspective we mainly focus on is the river as well as the transportation governance. And we believe that this is also, I think, the similar challenge faced by both China in the past, but also still faced by the Bangladesh, the river management, the transportation issues. I have been to Bangladesh 3 times. Each time I was always deeply impressed by the traffic jam, a little bit like Shanghai in the past. Shanghai is very notorious for its traffic jam, but in the past few years it has been somewhat improved. So I think that a lot of experience and expertise, the Chinese side, those scholars included, they have experience to share. And the third one is about AI, AI and intelligence. This is, of course, are very important issues that both the countries, Bangladesh and China, even if despite of different stage of development of AI, but we have to face the similar kind of challenge.
It's a very common problem, the traffic jam in Dhaka. Whatever you faced in Dhaka, you visited in three times in Dhaka. And what are your feelings about Dhaka city and Bangladesh? How impressed the city? What do you think about our city and our city's people?
You see that I have to confess, even if I have visited Dhaka 3 times, but my knowledge about Dhaka universities is still very limited and very superficial. I think that this is partially the reason I need to visit Dhaka or visit Bangladesh more frequently. Or even if I have a chance in the future, I could stay a little bit longer. And that will make me really feel the city. Otherwise, from the hotel to the conference room, all those studios, I only got a very limited and a very superficial experience. So I hope that in the future I could have more experience. But even of those very limited experience, I could feel the dynamics of this city. I can feel this very young population, a little bit different from that in Shanghai. You see, if you walk through those streets in Shanghai, you will see that those people with the senior people with gray hair, they are more, they are the majority. But here you see a lot of young people, very crowded. This has the one of the source of your advantage, and I hope that you could tap the potential of this greater demographic dividend. And also, I'm very deeply impressed by this increasingly more optimistic feeling in the past 3 years when I visited here.
Thank you very much. Dr. Jahangir, স্যার আপনার কাছে যেটা জানতে চাই যে অর্থনৈতিক এবং কূটনৈতিক সম্পর্কের বাইরে শিক্ষা গবেষণা চুক্তিগুলো বাংলাদেশের তরুণ প্রজন্মের উপর কী প্রভাব ফেলছে এবং সেই সঙ্গে ঢাকা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের ছাত্রছাত্রীরা কিভাবে চীনের উন্নয়ন মডেল বা গবেষণার সুযোগ থেকে প্রত্যক্ষভাবে উপকৃত হচ্ছে বা হওয়ার সুযোগ আছে বলে মনে করছেন?
Okay, thank you. I would like to share with you one wonderful thing is that, and which is very unique, that China is the only country which has got more than one initiatives at Dhaka University. We have got Chinese language department, we have got China Center for Chinese Studies, we have got another organization which also relates to language and cultural issues. Confucius Institute. So basically this is the only country which has got multiple initiatives at Dhaka University. And I would like to share one thing. Another thing is that very recently through our His Excellency Chinese Ambassador to Dhaka, through him Chinese government has actually approved a plan to establish a new residential hall for female students.
Yes.
At Dhaka University currently we are facing a huge challenge with respect to accommodation for female students. Now our female students are more than male students, newly enrolled among the newly enrolled students. So with respect to that, we have got a lot of huge residential accommodation crisis for female students. And China has come forward with a solution. Apart from that, if you think about what are the benefits that we are going to get from these MOUs, firstly, that you see we are going to be able to learn from the innovative culture of China. They are very innovative because China is spending a lot of billions of dollars on higher education and innovation and research, which we are lacking actually. And through these initiatives, we can get quickly the knowledge from China. That is technology transfer. And another thing is that China is a wonderful development model for all the countries in the world. How quickly they have alleviated poverty, how quickly they have created employment for unemployed people, how quickly they have arranged other livelihood initiatives for the people in the country. We can learn from China these development issues. And another thing is that I have already said that China is not only helping the Dhaka University, it's also helping other universities.
Yes.
And China is coming up with like different development initiatives. And they're offering many plans to Bangladesh that they want to be partner of development of the country. So through these things, Bangladesh is going to be highly beneficial through infrastructure, through soft knowledge, soft skill, and other from the technology transfer side as well. So these initiatives are going to benefit Bangladeshi institutions immensely, and China is going to be a wonderful role model for other countries to be a development partner.
Thank you very much. Professor, I want to ask you that since the establishment of Center for China Studies at Dhaka University, you have visited Bangladesh multiple times and hosted various Bangladeshi delegations in China. Academic exchange between two nations has reached unprecedented level. Besides these activities, what common ground has been reached between the academic communication of both countries? Beyond the formal diplomacy, how can think tank contribute the regional administration and governance? What do you think?
Well, I think that, yes, you are right. In the past few years, since the establishment of CCS, Center for China Studies in Dhaka University with our partner of Dhaka Universities, and we have organized a number of academic exchange programs, including receiving a lot of delegations from Dhaka University, senior scholars, as well as the young leaders delegations. We also organized or invite a lot of senior scholars to Dhaka University to give the lectures about what is China doing these days.
Yes.
I think that one of the consensus or common ground we have reached is that we could never overestimate the importance of this academic exchange.
Okay.
Since you know that those academic communities, they are the elites, they are the opinion leaders. And frankly speaking, I think that most of those elites in Dhaka University, as my best knowledge, is that they receive their higher education, advanced studies in Western universities. And therefore, even if we have been engaged with quite deeply in the past few years about the China's experience or knowledge about China's modernizations, I think that most of those Bangladesh scholars, their understanding about China's modernizations is still quite limited, or they try to frame China's modernization through the prisms of a Western methodology or their framework.
Yes.
So I think that it's better for such kind of communications in a deep and continuous way. For instance, in the last year, we start to launch a senior scholars visiting fellow program, which means that we will invite those scholars from universities as well as those think tanks people from Bangladesh to China for at least 1 month or even longer, so that they could stay more longer than before. If they only stay in China for a few days, or 3 or 4 days, or 1 week maximum, maybe they visited Shanghai, they visited Beijing, or maybe even Xi'an or some other important cities. But their knowledge about the overall China is still very limited, or even I would say biased. And their stereotype image about China is still that as used to. But if they could stay a little bit longer, I think at least I can feel that they have a more complicated pictures about China. Yes, China is both developed, but sometimes less developed or still developing. China's diversity. China has more than 50 plus different ethnic groups.
Yes.
And China's development areas has been, we will see the discrepancy of those development from coastline areas into those inward cities areas. In those inward areas, there are still a lot of a backward area, and those living standards only above those poverty. So I think that will largely change their stereotype image about China. But that is a very important starting point. So I think the longer that we could maintain such kind of communication, particularly have a more Bangladeshi scholars stay in China for longer, they could understand how complex, how diversity, and also well as not only those opportunities, but also a lot of challenges China faces. And then they could have appreciated more about the experience China has been accumulated through in the past 4 decades of opening and reform.
Thank you very much for your opinion. I want to ask you that in the terms of good governance, what legislation can China offer the Bangladeshi public and private institution could adopt? I am particularly interested in your observation regarding project implementation, human resource management, and culture of accountability. What do you think?
Thank you. I think we have a lot to learn from China, because you see what I have seen. I had an opportunity to visit Shanghai Institute of International Studies last year for 3 weeks, and I met many people in the academia, also in the private sector as well. So and I had also several visits before to China. So from this visit, what I have seen that, which we lack actually in Bangladesh, that they give you responsibilities and they also make you accountable as well. And they have got like milestone-based mentoring system. They give you the milestones and they ask you to achieve those milestones within the given time. So which we lack. If you look at our development projects, some of the projects took more than double time in completing the project, which actually doesn't happen. It cannot be you can't see this thing in China. So you have to finish your projects by the deadline, and they make you accountable. So we have a lot to learn from this thing. And another thing is that you have to be very serious about in the education system. What China does is that they put the moral values, ethical values like Japan, while students in the very early age and in the primary school and the school, so which we also lacking, and we can incorporate this learning in our education system, that giving moral and ethical values, incorporating that in the education system, so the student learn these values at a very early age, and which helps. And I think we can learn from this from China with respect to this thing, and that's the thing that we can do in Bangladesh.
Thank you very much, Professor Chen. Regarding comparative governance research exchange program for young scholar and the publication of joint research, what are the upcoming plan of Shanghai Institute of International Studies? Furthermore, will the Dhaka model of think tank network cooperation be expanded to other South Asian countries?
Yeah, of course. I think that in our meeting with many colleagues from other South Asian countries, they envy our centers in Dhaka University. They always say that why not you should establish another one in, for instance, in Pakistan or in Nepal or in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I want to ask the question.
Yes, but we we say, I always told them that this is the first time that the SIS, the think tank I work for, established the overseas Center for China Studies. So we still need a lot of experience. We need to get more experience and knowledge and how to make those centers really serving as a bridge between the academic communities between two countries, to make the serve as a knowledge sharing and a knowledge renovation or knowledge innovation about two countries' modernizations. So I think that even if we are looking forward in the future that we could establish a similar one in other countries, but I think that we need to make this first one much more solidified, and so that we could accumulate more experiences. So I told them that be patient.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jahangir. Actually, কৃত্রিম বুদ্ধিমত্তা যেভাবে বিকশিত হচ্ছে, যেভাবে এটার জোয়ার সারা বিশ্বে ছড়িয়ে পড়ছে, আপনি কি ভাবছেন কৃত্রিম বুদ্ধিমত্তা, জলবায়ু পরিবর্তন বা বাংলাদেশের বিশাল সম্ভাবনাময় সুনীল অর্থনীতি, এসব ক্ষেত্রে অংশীদারিত্ব বাড়ানোর ক্ষেত্রে চীনের সঙ্গে কোনো পরিকল্পনা আপনাদের ভবিষ্যতে আছে কিনা?
আমি সাংহাইতে গিয়েছিলাম গত বছর। যখন আমি গিয়েছি তখন আমি 10টা টপ ইউনিভার্সিটি ভিজিট করেছি। ডিউরিং দ্যাট ভিজিট আই ওয়েন্ট টু দিস 10 ইউনিভার্সিটিজ ইন সাংহাই, বেজিং, and I met all with the top officials. And the main objective of those visits was to understand the extent to which these universities are investing on AI and how AI is going to change the higher education as well as research and teaching everything. So what I have found that China is really giving a huge emphasis on capacity building in AI and investing heavily on AI research and also infrastructural development. And at a particular university, one of the top universities in Shanghai, when I went there, I saw that when they have got departments on CSE and II in information technology, despite that, they have created a new institute on AI with the endowment fund of $100 million.
Oh.
So which is huge. And what is the thing is that the government is asking the universities that what you think that AI is going to do to your institution, what is going to be the impact of it in the future, and you come up with your proposal. Then university administration is asking the respective department and institute that you do research and how your department or institute is going to be impacted by AI. And they are coming with their own proposals and budget requirement, and accordingly the university is making investment on that. But compared to that thing, we are lagging behind like anything. We don't have any preparation, and even at the national level, we haven't seen that we have a real policy on AI and how we are going to cope up and how we are going to make investment, how we are going to be prepared, and what is going to be their capacity process. We don't know. But the good thing is that whenever we receive delegates from China at Dhaka University, all of them are eager to help us in AI as well as with respect to research and other things related to teaching and academic issues. So hopefully that the lacking that we have, we would be able to cover or bridge with the help of Chinese partners. But the point is that we have to make investment on it. We have to do a planning for it. So that we can face it in the future.
In future, you have a plan to do that. Okay, thank you very much. Professor Tong Xiao, following the formation of new government, Chinese Ambassador Yao Wen stated that as a traditional friendly neighbor and comprehensive strategic cooperative partner, China is eager to cooperate with a new administration across all fields to write a new chapter in a bilateral relation. In your opinion, in which specific areas can China and Bangladesh think tank play a vital role in this process?
Well, I think that your new government, since the new government came to power, and we have observed many Chinese people, including Chinese government, have observed that your new government has taken a lot of important steps.
Yes.
In unifying and making these countries more unified, and also has reiterated its commitment to revitalize the economic growth, as well as to improve the livelihoods of the general public. I think that these important goals could not be taken place without a further collaboration with the outside world, including China. And so in that regard, you said Ambassador Yao Wen mentioned that there's a huge volume of cooperation between two sides. The think tank people, I think that since we set up the CCS in Dhaka universities, we positioned the CCS as a platform of knowledge sharing of modernization between each others. So in the past few years, and through a lot of academic exchanges, we have bring a lot of scholars with expertise on, for instance, on the transportation and on the AI governance, on agriculture, on those continuing education, as well as on those specific areas such as infrastructure building, etc. So I think that these areas are just what the Bangladesh nowadays desperately needs, and particularly in terms of those experience sharing. So I think that as a think tank people, we think that the greater role we still have to play to serve as a bridge as well as a catalyst for comparing notes between each others, to help our Bangladesh colleagues to share those experiences and also develop your own model of modernization in the future.
It's a very good initiative. Thank you very much. Dr. Jahangir, I want to ask you that আমরা দেখেছি যে সম্প্রতি বৈশ্বিক বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের র্যাঙ্কিংয়ে, শিক্ষার র্যাঙ্কিংয়ে চীনের অনেক বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় এখন টপ মোস্ট র্যাঙ্কিংয়ে চলে এসেছে, যেখানে হার্ভার্ড ইউনিভার্সিটিকে পেছনে ফেলে চীনের বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়গুলো এখন অবস্থান নিচ্ছে। আমার প্রশ্ন, ঢাকা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় একসময় র্যাঙ্কিংয়ে একটা ভালো অবস্থানে ছিল, যদিও বিদ্যমান পরিস্থিতিতে এখন সে অবস্থানে নেই। আপনি অ্যাজ এ অ্যাডমিনিস্ট্রেটিভ বা প্রশাসনিক জায়গা থেকে বা আপনারা কি ভাবছেন, কিভাবে বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের এই মানোন্নয়ন করা যায়, র্যাঙ্কিংয়ের জায়গায় আবারও সেই পূর্বের জায়গায় ফিরিয়ে নেওয়া যায়?
গত বছরের তুলনায় এবছর যে নতুন র্যাঙ্কিং, আমরা কিন্তু অনেক ধাপে গিয়েছি। গত 15-20 বছর এটা আমাদের বেস্ট র্যাঙ্কিং এই বছর আমরা পেয়েছি। আসলে এইটার এই র্যাঙ্কিংয়ে পেছনে ঢাকা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় কিন্তু খুব বেশি দায় নাই। কারণ হচ্ছে যে র্যাঙ্কিং বাড়ানোর জন্য যে ইনভেস্টমেন্ট দরকার, সেই ইনভেস্টমেন্টটা কিন্তু আমাদের নাই। ফর এক্সাম্পল, there are some parameters in the ranking, and two parameters are very important parameters, that like how many foreign faculty members do you have, and how many foreign students do you have. So the point is that for both we need a huge budget, and that's what we are lacking actually. But we are thinking in a different way to solve the problem of foreign faculties. That many of our alumni are serving at top university in the world in different countries. So we are trying to incorporate them as our adjunct professor indirectly in a different, so that they can contribute. Through that process, we are going to solve that problem of foreign faculties, and we'll invite them to come to Dhaka University for 1 month or 2 weeks and take classes and deliver lectures to the faculty members and students. And another thing, from the perspective of the foreign students, we are now trying to give some scholarship. Very recently, we have awarded around 20 scholarship to Palestinian students, full scholarship to these girls. Now they are in Gaza. We are expecting them to come to Dhaka University and join the university. So, and another thing is, we have targeted our South Asian countries for getting foreign students, because hopefully within the 1 or 2 years, with the help of the government, we'll be able to award some scholarship to these students. So this is how we are trying to increase the number of foreign students at Dhaka University gradually. And another thing is that regarding the research is another important parameter. We are doing actually very well, and in the recent years, the number of publications in quality journals, Q1 and Q2 journals, is going up gradually. Though we don't have any ecosystem to promote research and publications, but we are developing it, and hopefully in 1 or 2 years' time, we'll have a mechanism to promote it, and we'll try to have a research ecosystem to develop in the university. And another thing is that our partners from China and other countries like China, Korea, and other developed countries, they are also extending their cooperation to help us to have good research as well as subsequently publications from those research and published in top quality journals.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jahangir, এবং thank you very much, Professor Tong Xiao, for joining with us. We're lucky to get your opinion in our show. Thank you very much, and thanks again, both of you.
Thank you.
প্রিয় দর্শক, আপনারা দেখছিলেন অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ কিছু বিষয় নিয়ে আমরা দুজন বিশেষজ্ঞর সঙ্গে কথা বলছিলাম, এবং যেভাবে সাংহাই ইন্টারন্যাশনাল স্টাডিজ কাজ করে যাচ্ছে বাংলাদেশে এবং ঢাকা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় সহ অন্যান্য থিঙ্ক ট্যাঙ্কগুলোর সঙ্গে যেভাবে কাজ করে যাচ্ছে, এই কোঅপারেশন এবং এই সহযোগিতা যদি অটুট থাকে এবং চলতেই থাকে, তাহলে নিশ্চয়ই শিক্ষাক্ষেত্রে এবং গবেষণা ক্ষেত্রে বাংলাদেশের এবং চায়নার এই কোঅপারেশন এবং এই সহযোগিতা এক অনন্য উচ্চতায় পৌঁছবে। আজ এ পর্যন্তই, দেখা হবে আগামী সপ্তাহে নতুন কোনো পর্ব নিয়ে নতুন কোনো অতিথির সঙ্গে। সে পর্যন্ত সবার জন্য শুভকামনা। চাইছেন